How's it going, everyone? James Lynch here for odds.com, taking a look at some prop bets for Saturday's UFC 252 pay-per-view, which goes down at the UFC Apex in Las Vegas. Of course, all lines are brought to you by Bet365. We're going to go to the co-main event. We've got Sean O'Malley taking on Chito Vera. Right now, you can get Sean O'Malley by decision at plus 155, and I'll tell you why I like that. I know O'Malley's been finishing his last couple opponents, of course, coming off that highlight reel win over Eddie Wineland, but this is Chito Vera we're talking about here, a guy who's never been finished in his career through 25 career fights. Vera's going to make this a dog fight. You better believe it. This is a guy who's always in exciting fights. I know he's coming off that loss to Song Yadong in his last fight. I think most people watching felt like he won that one, and I see a lot of people saying like, oh, Vera's going to be a layup. He's not a ranked opponent. Vera should be ranked. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he won that last fight, so he really should be ranked. So O'Malley is fighting a ranked opponent in this fight as far as I'm concerned, and I don't think it's going to be an easy fight for him. Will O'Malley win? Yes, but I think it's probably going to be by decision. We saw O'Malley's first true UFC fights against Terrion Ware and Andre Sukumta go the distance. I think the same thing's going to happen here with Vera. Very durable guy in Chito Vera. I think Vera knows the danger that O'Malley possesses in his finishing power, so I don't think O'Malley's going to go out there and actually finish Chito Vera. And right now in most odds books, on most books I should say, O'Malley's about a 3-1 favorite. That's too steep for me. I see this fight being a lot closer, so I think you can pretty much get some value here at O'Malley by decision, which right now is plus 155. I think that's some great value. You can get Sean O'Malley at plus money. I think that's a pretty solid bet in the co-main event of the card. Let's stick with the main card as well. We're in the heavyweight division. We've got a really interesting fight between former UFC heavyweight champion Junior Dos Santos taking on Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Dos Santos coming off that loss to Curtis Blades. Rozenstruik coming off that loss to Francis Ngannou. So really close fight on paper. But I'm going with Rozenstruik in this fight. I actually think he has a few advantages in this one. He's younger. He hasn't taken that much damage, and he's only coming off one loss in the UFC. And this guy can pack a serious punch, and that's why I'm going with him with the knockout prop. Right now, you can get him at minus 105, which is a little bit better than taking Rozenstruik straight up. So I think there's a lot of advantages there. Dos Santos has been finished in back-to-back fights. And for Rozenstruik, all of his fights have ended in knockout. And in the case of his last fight, he ended up getting knocked out by Ngannou, but all of his other fights have gone by knockout. So I think that those stats bode pretty well for Rozenstruik. I expect him to win this fight, and I expect him to do it by knockout. Dos Santos taken a lot of damage in his career. Even though he's not that old, he's still just taking a lot of damage. So I think taking Rozenstruik by knockout is a pretty safe bet there for the prop bet by knockout. And then the other bet I was looking at in this fight is Felice Herrig. She's a really big underdog coming up here against Jana Roba. Herrig, I wouldn't necessarily think she's going to, go out there and actually... And for Herrig, I don't think she's going to go... And I do see some value here on Herrig as a sizable underdog in this one, but rather than take her straight up, I actually think you can get even more value for Herrig if you take her by decision in this fight. Now, look, I get why she's such a big underdog. Herrig hasn't fought since 2018, has a lot of injuries. She's 35 years old. There's a lot of reasons for concern. It's not like she's Dominic Cruz and going to come back and, light the world on fire, so to speak. I don't think that's going to happen, but I do think she has an advantage to win this fight in the sense that she has a lot more experience than her opponent. She's fought nothing but killers as far as her last couple of opponents in the strawweight division, so I do see there being an opportunity for Herrig to go out there and pull off the upset. And if you look at Herrig's last couple fights, she's gone the distance, especially her last 5 fights. She's gone the distance in every single one of those ones. So Herrig, not much of a finisher, more of a decision fighter. And Jana Roba, she wins most of her fights by submission. You have to go all the way back to 2014, the last time Felice Herrig was submitted in a fight. So I think those odds are pretty good. I don't see Jana Roba finishing Felice Herrig, and I think Herrig potentially, if this goes to the distance, could potentially edge out a decision in this one. So I think you can get Herrig right now at plus 380. There's some really good value on that. I think Herrig could potentially pull off the upset. And usually when I look at close fights like this, fights that are closer, at least on the odds makers, I do see value here in the underdog. And in this case, Herrig, I think there is some value on here by decision at plus 380. So I want to know what you guys think of these prop bets in the comments below. Follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at Lynch on Sports. Let me know what you think, or leave some comments here on the YouTube channel. And make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel for Odds HQ. You can find my interviews here and my prop bets every week, so check that out. And I'm James Lynch. Thanks so much for watching, and enjoy the fights on Saturday.